maybe the biggest thing that's happened before the trial when it was last, I believe, Friday, those leaked texts and messages. I thought now, and we'll go both sides here, but I thought the most damning thing that's happened to NASCAR since this has started was when we heard what Steve Phelps said about Richard Childress.
Yeah.
And I've heard a lot of fans in the comment section respond here. You know this. There are a lot of fans who have thought over the years that NASCAR, maybe some of the execs, the suits, look at them as rednecks and, hey, we left the South, we're going to the West Coast, we're going to the big cities, we're going to Chicago, which I think Chicago's a great race. But just big picture, like these fans thought that NASCAR looked at them as rednecks. Well, then when you see it actually released, that they think, I mean, what is Richard Childress? Is he 80 years old? He's been in the sport for 60 years. He was a driver. He was an owner. He owned Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s car. For them to talk about him like that, I think that's been the most damning thing that's come out against NASCAR in this whole deal.
No doubt in my mind. You're exactly right. And it reminds me, listen, I'm a lot older than you, but I'm sure you remember as a kid, maybe. I don't even know if you were born, but in the early 80s, Major League Baseball, the players went on strike, and it took forever for us to get the fans back in the grandstands. The fans were so mad. They didn't come to the ballpark. That's what I'm worried about, Charlie. I'm worried about our fans not forgiving the NASCAR executives, because when you hear the executives go, Richard Childress is a redneck, he needs to be taken out back and flogged, which is unbelievable. I mean, I am a redneck, and I'll just say I'll beat your ass. But flogged means tortured and just beat the hell out of.
I think of Jesus when I think of that.
Yes,
right?
yes.
That's what I think of.
Yes,
is the passion of the Christ.
Yes.
That's what I
flogged means just obliterated, physically. So when you see the president at that time, Steve Phelps was the president at that time, and don't take no naked pictures of your wife. Because they're gonna find it. Anything you use on this damn cell phone or this computer that we're doing this off of, for all of us to think, man, ain't nobody gonna find this out. It all, what do they say? It just lives online. And I want to say this. Yesterday, during Denny Hamlin's, he was on trial yesterday. Denny Hamlin, he was tutored because he kept saying, documents don't lie.
Yeah.
Documents don't lie. Documents don't lie. So what has gotten NASCAR in trouble is people saying stuff and it's printed.
Yeah. And that's where I do want to give NASCAR some slack. And also even the Denny Hamlin, the owners of 2311 that called Denny Hamlin a child. We all talk differently in text. A lot of people talk behind people's back. So all I'm saying is if you got into everybody's text and group chats, a lot of us would be in really bad shape. So I do want to say that because I know
families would be in bad shape.
If they got my group text or my college friends, we'd all be done. So I do want to say, like, people do talk differently. I'm not saying it's right, but I think a lot of us, let's also worry about our own backyards first, because a lot of us would be guilty of that too.
No, there's no doubt. And with that, that's a perfect segue for me to say this. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. This shop is all about NASCAR. Even though it is a dirt racing shop, 90% of this shop is all dirt racing. I'm a dirt racer through and through, but I'm going to move my head. This right here, Charlie, that's all NASCAR.
Yes, sir.
And I love NASCAR. And it hurts my heart to see this new regime. I was ruled, and I said this on that night that you had me do a special segment that night. I grew up with Bill France Jr. He'd have Bill France Jr., the president at the time, he'd have a beer here and a cigarette here, and he'd go, Wallace, you're in trouble, boy. And like, damn, now these guys just talk behind your back. And I just want to make it clear that when I was in NASCAR, you knew where you stood.
Yeah.
We had dictators. They ruled, man, and we were fine with it. Race car driver Kenny Wallace here. Live events are about creating memories with friends and family, and tickets provide that opportunity. I'll never forget when I attended Game 6 of the 2011 World Series watching my beloved St. Louis Cardinals. And for my next St. Louis Blues hockey game, I'm going to use my new sponsor, Game Time, to buy my tickets. With Game Time, you can save up to 60% off buying last-minute sports, concert, and theater tickets in your city. You can get panoramic views from your seat in the app before you buy. You get the lowest price guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. You can save even more if you choose a section and let Game Time choose the seats. And your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service ticketing policy in the industry. Go to the link in my description to download the Game Time app and use code Kenny Wallace for $20 off your first purchase. I love NASCAR. However, do I want to see Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin sue NASCAR? Absolutely not. I don't want to see this. It's messy. It's embarrassing. That's the word I hear from all my NASCAR friends. This is embarrassing. So,
see, I actually don't see it like that. And maybe I'm an optimist.
I want to hear it.
But I also, I love NASCAR too now. I've only really been following it really close every day for 4 years, but I covered a lot of NASCAR when I was working in Lansing, Michigan, 06, 07. But I feel like I've covered so many strikes and lockouts.
Good point.
NFL, there was one about I think it was about 10, 12 years ago.
You've seen dirty stuff.
I remember that. Baseball had just a year and a half ago, coming off COVID, right? They had a lockout. The NHL has had 2, I believe, in the last 15, 20 years. And then, of course, you brought up the baseball one. I think that was 80 or 81. But then, of course, the 94 one is the one I remember as a 12-year-old. So I just think this is NASCAR's first big, serious labor issue. I just read a lot of people saying, oh, the sport will never survive, and will we be at the Daytona 500? And I think, don't get me wrong, this is embarrassing, but I think we're still going to have NASCAR. And I even think win, lose, or draw, I think they're going to find a way to keep Michael Jordan in the sport. I think some money's going to change hand, right? Like either NASCAR is going to keep the money they're making or the teams are going to get more. But I guess I don't have this fatalistic look like NASCAR will never be the same. At the end of the day, Kenny, you know this. They're just fighting over dollars.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I want to respond to something. And I see it on our timeline here. Everybody's right. Dictatorship does not work anymore, but tough love does.
Yeah.
I feel like when I said the other night, I feel like NASCAR should probably sell. It's become bigger than a family-run business.
I agree with that.
And let's be honest, NASCAR is a family-run business. And I said, you look at Formula One, it's owned by Liberty Media Group. You look at IndyCar. Roger Penske sold a third to Fox. My boss, back when I was doing TV, Eric Shanks. So big racing organizations. And I understand NASCAR's not like anything else. I get all that. However, you're right. We can't do a dictatorship anymore. Those days are gone. But we can't do like we used to do. And inevitably, I want to say one last thing. That's what got NASCAR in trouble. It's almost like they were trying to be nice. Okay, let us give you a charter system. Let us give you something.
Give them an inch.
Give them an inch. So if NASCAR would have stayed a dictatorship, if they would have said, nobody gets a charter, that's the way it is, none of this would have happened.
Yeah.
So NASCAR messed up by trying to come up in the new world and say, let's start a charter. Like the St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Bengals in football. And those owners own those. Mm-hmm. And in NASCAR, you might own a team, but you can immediately fall out. Now, if they want to fall out, they can sell their charter and they have something.
Yeah. And I don't want people to also think that I'm anti-NASCAR.
No, you've seen it all. You've seen it all.
But what you said, I think two things can be true at the same time. You can give the France family all of the credit in the world for building an amazing business and running it well for 75 years, whatever it is. You should give the France family all the credit in the world. So I'm saying that, but I'm also saying in 2025, should the greatest stock car series in America and the world still be a family-run business?
Yeah.
The answer to that is probably no, while still giving the France family all the credit in the world for what they built. And I'm not saying you take their money, but again, is it a league type situation like the NFL where, again, team owners have a piece of the pie and the France family has a piece of the pie, or a media company, like you said, has a piece of the pie?
We're going to see.
Yeah.
We're going to see.